Good morning.
Good morning.
Give us your name and DOC number, please.
Vernell Demming 555-298.
All right, Mr. Demming. My name is Pearl Wise. To my right is Mr. Freeman. To my left is Mr. Roche. We comprise your panel. You're here today for revocation. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have your revocation questionnaire in front of you?
No, ma'am.
We can put it on the screen for you so you can look at it.
Okay,
All
yeah.
right. That's your signature there, sir? Oops. Oh, there. Right there we go. All right. Do you see that, Mr. Demming?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your signature on that? Is everything correct?
Yes, ma'am, except for number 5, I was actually making no money.
Okay, number 5 was you were actually making no money. So you didn't answer that way, or did it change since you did that form?
But the way they presented it to me, I was thinking they wanted to know how much I made before this, and I gave them that, but for the last 8 months, I haven't made any income.
Okay, so that was your salary before you went to jail. That's what you're telling me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, you answered it right. I think you answered it right. All right. Well, thank you, sir. Now let me explain the process to you. I'm going to read the allegations to you, give you an opportunity to plead guilty or not guilty, with or without a statement. You do have, let me diverse it. You do have an employer here who's going to speak for you, Mr. Cole Smith. After we finish our interview, we're going to ask Mr. Smith for his input, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. I'm going to read the allegations to you to give you an opportunity to plead either guilty or not guilty, with or without a statement. And the case has been assigned to me, so I will begin the interview with you. But let me get to that. And then after we finish our interview and Mr. Cole has spoken, we'll give you an opportunity to make a statement, and then we'll render our decision. So that's the process. You understand the process?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me get out here.
Medical, C3.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Okay, here we go. The first one is number 3. You were arrested by the Louisville Police Department in Louisville, Texas on July 21st of 2022, July 25th, 2022, September the 13th, 2022, and September the 27th, 2022. Texas arrest and court records indicate you were living in Fort Worth, Texas when the offense was committed. You did not have your parole officer's permission to reside out of state or travel out of state overnight. How do you plead to number 3?
Can I plead with a statement?
So which one, guilty or not guilty with the statement? Which one?
I want to plead not guilty, I guess. And can
That's
I explain?
fine. No, sir, we'll get statements later. Let's go through all of them. And now we're down to number 4. On the following dates, you were arrested by Louisville Police Department in Louisville, Texas, on multiple domestic-related felony charges, which are still pending in Dayton County Court. On August 1st of 2022, stalking, assault, family household member, impeding breath circulation, and aggravated assault in retaliation. How do you plead to number 4?
Guilty.
Okay. Then the next one is, I'm so sorry, this is number 4. I stopped reading too soon. 7/25/22, burglary of a habitation, burglary of vehicle. 9/13/22, burglary of habitation. 9/27/22, unlawful intent to use electronic communications, and you've already, all that's a part of number 4, and you pled guilty. And then number 10, you currently owe approximately $126 in delinquent supervision fee. How do you plead to number 10?
Not guilty with expert,
Statement.
yes, on
Okay.
both. All right, for number
Yes.
4,
And what now? Also, you plead guilty or not guilty to number 4?
for number 4, not guilty. Are we on number 4? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I thought you went back to it. No, we were on number 10, and I got you as not guilty with the statement as your plea. And I thought you went back to number 4, and I wanted to hear what you had to say, like you were changing your plea.
Well, I wanted to put just a statement on it, that's all.
And you pled guilty to number 4, and now you're saying guilty with the statement.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Go ahead and give us your statement at this time.
Relating to which one, ma'am?
Let's start with number 3.
And
Let's
number 3,
start in the order that the officers have it. Yes, sir. What is your statement? What you want us to know?
on number 3, that was the one where they say I was arrested a bunch of different days, right?
Yes, sir. You don't have that in front of you?
No, ma'am. Actually don't. But I was only arrested one day. I was only arrested
Okay, what day were you arrested?
the July 25th, and all those charges, they came back. Basically, they came back and added them because instead of the detective talking to, I had a female detective and we didn't see eye to eye, and words were exchanged. And as she left out, she added all those charges on afterwards. But I was only arrested one time.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I got thinking on number 3. What you want us to know about number 4?
That's which one was that? I'm sorry.
It's okay. On the following days, you were arrested by the Louisville Police Department in Louisville, Texas, on multiple domestic-related felony charges, which are still pending. And those dates are 7/21/20 for the stalking, 7/25/22 for the burglary of a habitation and burglary of vehicle, 9/13/22 burglary of a habitation, 9/27/22 unlawful interference using electronic communication.
Okay, yes, ma'am. All those charges are stemming from the girlfriend that I had at the time, or friend girl. She's put all these false charges on me, and the detective basically, like say, she arrested me on the 25th for one of them and just added all the other ones. And for number 3, that's what, I'm sorry now, I see it, I actually found a paper, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're supposed to have it, yeah. Yeah.
On number 3, they say I was living in Fort Worth, Texas. I was not living in Fort Worth, Texas. That I still might have my Louisiana license, my car's registered in Louisiana, my clothes is in Louisiana at the address indicated, and that is my brother's address. So I don't know, what I can do to prove that besides show my valid Louisiana license that I still have, I guess.
Okay, so now, okay, go ahead.
Ma'am,
Number 10, you had not guilty with the statement for number 10. What is your statement on number 10?
I was paid up. I think I owed it $60 maybe for the month of July. But I was paid up as far as my knowledge. And I mean, I can probably get the records, but I would have to be free to be able to get to my phone to prove that.
Okay. All right. Do you have any further statements you want to make?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, I don't know. I could just make a whole total statement, or does it have to be pertaining to certain things?
Oh, well, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure that you had made all your statements as to allegations 3, 4, and 10. That's what I would want to make sure of.
Yes, ma'am.
And now my question to you is, did you have permission from your parole officer to be in Texas?
She gave me verbal permission. The first time, I don't know if y'all keep it on file, but the first time I asked her for permission to work in Texas, she gave me, I guess, like a pass that was good for a month or so.
Was it a written pass or was it a verbal pass?
It was a written pass. And then when I asked her to redo it, she told me she's just gonna give me a verbal one. And then
Okay.
COVID, and after COVID, it was just all constantly verbal. But I checked in every month. I always paid every month. And I always, she always asked me if anything changed. I let her know nothing changed. So I took the verbal one as being good because I wasn't doing, getting in trouble or anything. I was just going to work.
And now, when you tell me that you were going to work, explain that to me. It was a kind of job that you commuted, it just in Texas every day?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of drive time are we talking about?
At first, it was an hour, and then I moved on up to the Denton area, and I would work sometimes I work 3 days, and I come home for 3 days, but I would stay there at the job and work on site at the job.
Okay. Where did you live in Louisiana?
1819 Doris Street, Shreveport, Louisiana.
And you commuted from Shreveport to Texas. That's a common practice in that area.
I guess so, ma'am.
To my knowledge, it is. A lot of people live in Shreveport and work in Texas. Okay. So you did have permission to go there and work with the expectation that you would come home every day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So your statement today is that you never spent the night, you never was tired. Well, you did spend the night, but you spent the night on the job.
Yes, ma'am.
But not at your brother's house.
No, ma'am.
What is the next court date for your pending charges?
I have no idea. I haven't had any contact with my lawyer or the courts or anything up there. From what I understood, they were waiting until we got finished with my parole or situation down here before they decided to do anything.
Oh, okay. So when you bonded out, they didn't give you a court date?
Yes, they gave me a court date, but it was for a hearing on, I guess, extradition or whatever. But since I got extradited here, they just went ahead and put an open, warrant on.
Oh, so they got it, okay. That's why I was wondering how they were managing that show. Okay.
Yes,
all
ma'am.
right. If anyone else have any questions?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Go ahead, Mr. Groshek.
Good morning, Mr. Demming. How are you?
Morning. All right. And how about yourself?
Good. Thank you for asking. Mr. Demming, you commuted to work from Louisiana to Texas, and you had domestic charges against you in Texas against your girlfriend. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So did your girlfriend work for the same company that you worked for?
Sir. We would spend time together, and that was about the end of that. I would go over her house, but I would never stay there like that.
But what I'm saying is that you didn't have permission to be at your girlfriend's house. You had permission to be at work.
Yes, sir.
So you were in violation of your supervision because you were visiting a place that wasn't approved by your parole officer.
Yes, sir. It can be looked at like that. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Groshek. Any other questions?
Mr. Demming, did y'all argue a lot, you and your girlfriend?
Yes and no. I guess maybe more than most. It's kind of hard to answer that question, I guess, because I don't know how everybody argue. I guess I don't know how to really answer that question. To me,
did you ever put your hands on her?
No, sir.
You never hit her, you've never choked her, you've never grabbed her.
No, sir. I actually got a letter with my lawyer saying that the detective I got, I guess, is a hard detective, and in the state of Texas, they are very strict on any crime involving a woman, whether she just says you did something and don't have evidence or not. But this my same lawyer has stated that even though there are evident lies, it's going to take time for this situation to be resolved.
So, and how long have you been in jail on this charge?
On a parole violation or just everything in total?
Everything since the domestic abuse, since you've been arrested in Texas.
8 months.
8 months. Okay, thank you.
But you've been in jail since July 21st of 22.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you said you were only arrested July 25th, 22. So
Yeah,
July 20
that's what they got on my paper here, July 25th, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm. Mhm. Do we have a arrest report in here?
Okay, I'm sorry. It must have been 21st. Oh, it's
Okay,
one of those days. I'm not gonna be exact on the 7/21 or even 7/25.
yes.
Mr. Demming,
Yes, sir.
you ever bond out on the charges in Texas?
Yes, sir. I bonded out, and after I bonded out,
When did you bond out?
I believe it was on the 21st.
Okay, and when did you get back to Louisiana?
Or maybe it was the 19th. I
Of
think-
January?
The 21st or the 19th of July.
Yeah, when did you get back to Louisiana?
Never made it because the Louisville Police Department had my keys and stuff to my vehicle, and they told me to come get it. And when I got there, they rearrested me on more charges that was older than the charge that they arrested me on. And that's stemming from the detective having a personal vendetta, basically. It's so much stuff going on with the detective in that case, it's ridiculous. Like, I can't begin to even try to explain that.
Okay, Mr. Demming, so the second time you were arrested, did you find out?
Yes, sir.
So when did you get back to Louisiana?
The second time I bonded out, I was in jail. I stayed in jail because I had the parole hold on me.
Okay, okay.
Then they expedited, they did the extradition and brought me here.
Okay. So basically, you never left jail because we had a parole.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions? At this time, we want to hear from Mr. Cole Smith. Will you unmute and tell us what you want us to know?
Yes, ma'am. So just to let you know that Mr. Demming's worked for me. And he's a very, very good employee. He shows up. I have the utmost respect for him. I've got about 150 employees. I'm in the trucking business. And he came to work for me. He's working for another company and they weren't paying him. And so I said, absolutely. And the guy showed up. I mean, he's honest as the day is long. I'd take him back in a second. If you'll let him out of jail, I got a good job for him and a place to stay. I will tell you this is that not only is an excellent employee, he shows up on time. He just comes in and does his work. I've got other employees and they spend their day talking to everybody else. Vernell spends his day working, and he works his tail off. He does a fantastic job. I will tell you that I saw his girlfriend show up to work one day and I know it's his girlfriend because I asked him later, who was that girl? And she was trying to get money from him. And when I walked by, he was being very, very kind to her. And she was slapping him on the backside, like just swinging at him. He never made a move towards her. He never touched her. She probably hit him 3 or 4 times. And it wasn't like she was whacking him like with a club or anything like that. She just hit him. And then she'd say, Vernell, you owe me money. You need to give me money and give me money. When she left, I walked up to him and said, Vernell, who is that? He said, well, that's the girl I'm kind of seeing. And I said, well, do me a favor. I said, how does she know you're here? He said, she tracked me down some way. And I said, well, just please tell her not to come back because she's not welcome here. So I never saw her again there, but I will tell you this is that his demeanor when she was whacking on him was nothing but admirable. He never made a step toward her. He just kept walking away and she basically and she'd hit him on the back and probably hit him at least 3 times. And he never touched her. He never turned. He just kept walking away and say, please leave. So that's what I know about Vernell, but he's an excellent employee. He has a job whenever he wants it. And if you guys can, you know, when he gets out, he's got a standing job here because he's just an excellent employee. So that's my experience with him. He's been nothing but honest with me. I did see the how the police department here handled it. They let him out on a charge, or they let him out if he bonded out. He went down to literally going down to get his car keys, and he got there and they walked in and said, you got a bunch more charges, and took him right to jail. We actually had to go pick up his car keys, pick up his car. I had to tow his car. We still have not gotten his keys back from the police department. They swear they don't have them. We've been down there. T.I.'s or Vernell's dad's or his aunt has been down there at least 3 or 4 times. We've been down there at least twice to go get the keys. And so we have not been able to recover the keys, and the car is still sitting here in my yard, which we've been trying to get the keys for. So every time they come get the keys, but the keys never show up. So they also had his other keys for his truck, which those keys are missing as well. So I'm not I'd like to say we're all law-abiding citizens, but what I've seen with the police department here, I've not been overly impressed with, and it's actually very much irritated me. And, you know, I guess I'd say that I don't know if it's because T.I. or Vernell is black, but I've not really ever known much about how the police department works, but with T.I. or Vernell, I call him T.I. I saw some stuff there that I just didn't like, and it really irritated me about the police department. I thought, you know what? I understand the frustration of people of color have with the police department, because they're always guilty when they walk in the door, and I was not impressed with how they handled it with him. So just, that's my 2 cents worth. That's my opinion, is that he got shafted up here by the police department, and that's my own personal opinion. But I saw how they handled it. I saw how they handled his keys, and he had some stuff in the car, which when we picked up the car was not there. The lady said it was there, and when we got the car, when we picked it up, it was not in the car. So anyway, some personal effects he is. So anyway, so whether they were there or somebody stole them, don't know. But anyway, just was not overly impressed with the police department's handling of the case.
I have a question for you, sir. This job, it's still gonna be in Louisville?
It's actually in Denton. I'm about 15 miles from Louisville.
In Denton,
Yes, sir.
okay? And where he'll be staying, is that in Denton also?
It is. Yes, sir.
Thank you, no further question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Demming,
It's close, yeah.
no, I need,
Okay.
Mr. Demming,
Yes, sir.
do you have any blood relatives that live in the Fort Worth Denton area?
In the Fort Worth area, yes, sir. Not in the Denton area.
And what's the relationship?
Brother.
And I'm gonna be very honest with me. At any time, during the time you worked with Mr. Smith, did you live or stay at your brother's house?
Oh, sir. He has a full house over there.
If I can speak to that, I will, if you let me.
Go ahead, Mr. Cole.
Okay, so I have 3 RVs that I have with 150 people. Somebody's always looking for a place to live. So I've got three RVs. So Vernell had a RV here that I let him. I basically, charge him $100 a week on, because I paid the electricity and everything on it. So when he needed to stay, that's where he stayed.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, it's still full of his stuff. So anyway, just FYI. So, and his cars are still here as well. And his tools as well.
All right, T.I., is there anything you want to tell us before we vote?
Ma'am, I checked in every day I worked. I was really on my way to saving money, trying to get me a place. This girl that didn't work out, she decided to harm me in the worst way possible. And that being, she knew I was on parole, and she literally, every charge, when I say it's false, it's definitely false. I know I'm gonna beat the charges for a fact. She's literally playing this to the T, and after she filed all these charges, she moved back to Louisiana. So I still gotta go up there, and I'm on bond up there. So even if I go up there on bond, they want me to have, I guess they got what's like a supervision, like parole supervision bond, some type of deal like that, where I have to be on an ankle monitor in Denton, Texas, and check in with a supervisor, a parole supervisor, every month, just like I was checking in here. So I mean, it's just, this thing it's been a headache from the beginning. But I do accept responsibilities for dealing with the wrong woman. I do accept my responsibility for that.
All right, thank you.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Mr. Demming,
Yes, sir.
that you had such a great job in that you have relatives live in Louisville, which is not that far from Denton. Why haven't you applied with your parole officer for an out-of-state compact to work in Texas?
I asked her 4 times and she said they was not taking new people. And then when the COVID thing hit, they would not take people because of COVID. That's word for word what she told me. And I continued to ask. Even right before, maybe 2 months before I got locked up, 3 months before I got locked up, I asked her to do it then because COVID was basically over with. And she said then that they still was not accepting new people in Texas from Louisiana.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
We have a motion for executive section. Can I get a second?
Second,
Roll call, please. Parole. Yes.
yes.
Yes, we're gonna discuss confidential matters related to this case, and we'll be right back. All right, sir. Ms. Vernell, we're back in session for Vernell T. Demming on the revocation hearing. And you've already made your statement, right? You told us what you wanted to know. The panel is ready to vote, and Mr. Freeman will be voting first.
Okay, Mr. Demming, I spoke to our headquarters, well, not our headquarters anymore. I used to work at probation. But anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna release your detainer. How far is it for you to drive to Denton right now? How long?
From Shreveport. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Hang on, can you hear me now?
Yeah. How long does it take you to drive to Denton from your house right now?
3.5 hours.
We can just let him be. Okay, what we're gonna do then, I want you to report to your probation officer. We're gonna release you to detainer. She's gonna initiate interstate contact, but she'll give you a travel permit. Tell her give it to you, because the board said give it to you, even though that they may reject your case because you're down there. You're not supposed to be down there when we do an interstate compact. But 3.5 hours is too far to drive. You are to stay away from, what is it, Louisville, unless it's for court matters. You are to stay away from that girl. Okay?
Yes, sir.
If you see her, you go the other way. If you got to call 911, you call 911. Because I want no contact with that girl. If you have contact, we're going to put you right back where you're sitting right now, okay?
Yes, sir.
And then we're going to just let the charges play out down there.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So that's our rule,
Thank
not
you.
to revoke.
Thank you, Ms. Freeman. Mr. Roche.
Mr. Demming,
Yes, sir.
you got yourself in one big mess.
Sir, I couldn't hear you, sir.
I said you got yourself in one big mess.
Yes, sir.
My vote is not revoke. Please report to the court office and initiate interstate compact. Hopefully you can get a travel permit for 60 days, but it then takes us in work until it's approved. And hopefully the charges will disappear. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so, now let me verify with Mr. Cole first. Your correct number is 940-367-1993. It's
Yes,
not
ma'am.
ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And 940-387-5500.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because P&P will probably want me to reach out to you. I want to make sure they can reach you. You've given us a lot to think about. You've done well today. I want you to know that Mr. Cole Smith really impressed me with what he had to say. I want to make sure you appreciate him properly.
Yes, ma'am.
For his contribution today. You don't find many employers, first of all, that hire convicted families, and we appreciate that, Mr. Cole. And then support him like you did. We appreciate that. You made a difference today. So my vote is to do not revoke, return you to supervision, and I'll report to street court probation parole as soon as possible. From the time you get the vote, from the time you release, let them give you a travel permit and report to Mr. Cole and stay in that trailer until something else is worked out.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
And no contact with TL Gilbert, no contact. Now, she probably gonna be called, trying to apologize and all that kind of stuff. Hang up and say, the parole board told me I cannot have contact with you by no means. And just keep saying that to her until she finally realized that you're serious. That's what she said, sir. You've been returned to supervision on the same conditions previously imposed.
Ma'am,
I think best wishes to you, sir. We don't.
thank